All right, my name's Black Viking. I am here with the homie from Warhorse, Tobi. He is the PR manager for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I just got my ass handed to me a couple of times, and you was making fun of me.
No, dude, it was positive enforcement. I wanted to motivate you, you know?
yeah. Well,
I laughed at you, and then you won the big fight,
and then I
right?
won, yes. So that
There
worked
you
out
go.
just fine. So, man, tell us a little bit about coming from Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first game, to now this one. Tell us how, because you've explained to me a little bit about how massive this game is.
Yeah.
Tell the people who've played the first one what they can look forward to in the second one.
So first of all, I think what's important to say is that you do not need to know anything about KCD1 in order to enjoy the second game, because we really try hard to write it in a way and develop it in a way that we give you the bare necessary information, but then it opens up in front of you and you just learn by going. However, if you did play KCD1, you will love the second one because it's so much better in everything. We improved everything, from the level design, the questing, even the bloody dice minigame, combat. Everything should feel smoother, play nicer, should be rounder, and just be more immersive and authentic than it was before. And you know, in all honesty, nothing wrong with KCD1, absolutely not. It's a great game.
It's a great game, yeah.
However, this is now what we always dreamt of, and this is now, the vision is now becoming a video game.
So that's what I noticed in this too, from the assets that are in the game to the polish that you guys have with the level of detail in the city. Also, like the dialogue and the mocap with the characters. You guys took it to a level 20. If Kingdom Come Deliverance, the first game, was a 10, you guys bumped it up all the way up to a 20,
dude,
man.
Really.
My question because there's a lot of dialogue, right? A lot of choices to make. How difficult was it for you guys to, all right, we want this to happen and this to happen, all these lines branching out, but at the very end of it, it all kind of comes together.
Mm-hmm. Very difficult, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So we know the start of the game, we know the end of the game, because it's based on historical events, so we kind of need to follow through a path of things that have to happen.
Yeah.
The way how we go on questing, on how we write questing, is that we want to tell you, this is what you have to do, but how you do it is really up to you. If you go the stealthy way, if you go the Spartacus sword ahead way, if you try to be the diplomat and talk your way out, often your choices will change the outcome of the quest, or will change the mission, will change the situation, and that leads to the fact that either you can replay the game if you want, but if you talk to your friends or your buddies or whatever, then they might have a totally different experience. So of course it's very tricky. Of course it took us a while to get to that point, but I'm extremely proud that I strongly believe that there's really a playthrough, your own story that you're telling there, right? You are playing a given character, but you are essentially creating Henry. You make him be the person he are, so you can really deeply roleplay KCD.
I really can't get over, we played for a little bit. I can't get over just how much you guys actually put into this game. One of my biggest things that I wanted to ask for this one, for people who haven't played this type of game before, hold on, give me a second while I formulate the question. So I'll cut it.
Why is it so awesome? That's the question you want to ask.
Why is it? Yeah. So the combat system, you guys, you explained to me like it was hard to master, right? But you guys wanted to make this one a little bit easier, but it still has that level of detail to where you have to master it to get really good.
Absolutely.
So what was the thought process on bringing that to this iteration?
Well, first of all, you failed the first quest, the first fight, I mean, but the second one you absolutely nailed.
Why you gotta bring that
and
up?
Because the second one was stronger than the first one.
Okay.
And you whooped his ass. So thing is that you catched up really quickly.
Really fast, yeah.
And the point is that the combat system of KCD is based on real historical martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
So we had those real sword fighters coming in, showing us how everything is supposed to work.
Okay.
We told them why that is not possible and that we need to do compromises here and there. It's just a video game, right?
Right.
But the thing is that you can choose the different ways where to attack. You see an opponent without a helmet, well, attack his hat will do more damage, of course.
Right.
If you see that the guy is wearing full plate armor, then choose a mace or something, because that wrecks the plate armor. So you just have to think a little bit and look at a little bit on what's in front of you. However, in KCD1, we had one dude doing the animations for all the weapons, so they kind of felt the same, more or less. Now in KCD2, we have weapon masters for each and single class. That means that all the weapons should play and feel differently.
Okay.
So when you do not like the different ways of zones and of attacking and so on and chaining and whatever, and we say screw that or it's way too hard for me, then take an axe or a hammer or a mace, which is less zones, because who would stab with a mace, right?
Right.
It's just whack the enemy on the head, and we just want to offer a different set of movements or like choices again for the game for you as a player to choose from. Well, you can't finish the game without fights. You have to do them, but you can avoid them for most of the time. So you don't even have to do that if you don't want to. But it's there, and it's the real deal, and it's in my opinion, the closest you can get to the Middle Ages, world-wise and combat-wise.
So that's another thing about the historical accuracy of the game. How many people did you guys help collaborate to get everything just right, how y'all wanted to within the game?
So many, really many. We have one in-house historian, but she is working with all the outside experts for every topic, and it goes even so far that with the feedback that we are changing entire quests or entire plot lines, because that they said, well, yeah, what you're trying to say seems fun, but it's not how it is supposed to do or work. So we then try to find a balance there. It's important to understand that this is neither a simulation or a 100% realistic, that's exactly how it was. It's just a video game. But we're trying very hard and with the best of our knowledge to get it at least plausible somewhere. Yeah. So we have over 30, 40, 50 people who are like from different like beliefs and countries and origins and so on, telling us about the weapons and about the architecture and about the behavior of certain jobs and people, and so there's really everything. We try to get fact check and then see where and how we can implement them and use that in the game.
That's okay. So while I was playing, I observed a little icon popped up for me to observe the fountain that's in the middle of the city. Yeah. And there's water coming from the fountain. Yeah. And I know this is ages ago. Yeah. And he even comments on it. So it's like, this fountain's in the middle of the city. Yeah. Where's this water coming from? Yep. Do you have any
of course
detail on like really how that happened?
So that fountain is still there in the city. The entire city is still existing, so it's a World Heritage Site. This fountain looks different now. So this city is a silver mining city, so they mine from the silver from the mines and then use chemicals to melt everything down. So they were actually polluting their own water, which is a huge problem. Yeah. So they were importing with aqueducts, you know that maybe from Rome or something like that. There's like bridges with where the water is flowing on the top. Right. So they were trying to import water from the mountains and bring them with those canals to the city. The one that you saw, the fountain, that is one before they found out that they're polluting themselves. Okay. So that is still like underground water. But later on, like 70 years later in real life, not in the game, of course, 70 years later in real life, they started to build those aqueducts because they said, dude, we are like, that's not so healthy, I guess. So. Right. So
that's crazy.
The people in the Middle Ages, that's a really super common misconception. People think they were like stupid, everyone had black teeth and everyone was like, I don't know, living in the streets or whatever, but they were super clever they were engineers and architects building ginormous cathedrals, which no one would be able to do today. So there's a lot of common misconceptions which we are trying to, negate somehow, but at the end, again, as I said, it's just a video, so sometimes it's a little bit, let's say, creative. Yes. But I think still it's the closest you can get.
Okay, so Mr. Trash Talker here. What is your favorite weapon to use in this game?
Well, I'd take the Warhammer. It's just, first of all, like whacking the enemies on the head is amazing. But you need to consider, in KCD1 you were fighting mostly bandits and like local lords and I don't know what. Now in KCD2 you have to face armies, full trade soldiers, full plate weapons, and nothing better than a hammer to crush someone in his tin,
Yes.
right? In his can. So the Warhammer is definitely my go-to weapon.
Okay, that sounds good. So was there anything during this interview that you would want not only Kingdom Come Deliverance fans to know, but also people who wants to jump into the genre about this game? Because this looks like a labor of love.
Thank
for
you,
real,
sir.
for real. So yeah.
It absolutely is, and you need to consider we came from a Kickstarter in 2014, so this is from the beginnings of Warhorse Studios, the beginnings of KCD. We try to be very close with the community, and I know that sounds like a phrase, but we really take a lot of feedback from them, and especially from KCD1. Right, we had 6 million people playing it, buying it. Thank you for that. And some things we said, hey, deal with it, because it's by choice and by design.
Right.
But some stuff we really took in, like the combat, for instance, said, okay, gotcha, hear ya, it was too hard, we'll not dump it down, but adjust it a tiny little bit.
Right.
So we really try to talk to you guys, talk to us, talk to you, see where we can refine the game. I'm very proud with where KCD2 is right now. 6 months before it release, it runs way better than the first game on the day of release.
That's nice.
So thank you for being with us, and fortune favors the brave, I guess. So.
Oh, yes, right. So release date and platforms,
Yes.
for those that don't know.
February 11th, and the platforms is PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC.
Perfect, man. Guys, I found me a new friend. All right.
See you in Bohemia.
Drinks later.
Absolutely,
Oh, okay,
sir.
that's right. All right.
You pay though. The game is not out yet. Didn't cash in yet.
All right, guys. Longhouse out.
Take
Peace.
care.
Fantastic.